What is going on, F8 Nation? John Impemba here with Howard Bender. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS Game Day Playbook Show. Today we are taking a look at the 7-game main slate for Wednesday. Howard, we got some day baseball going on right now, so we've been watching that action this afternoon, but still plenty of baseball to come today.
Yes, definitely plenty of baseball still to come. This, I was getting all amped up about this doubleheader here between the Pirates and the Tigers today, because not only were you going to still get to see that Jared Jones, Tariq Skubal matchup, but then your second game loaded up with little Paul Skeens. So loving on that. Tariq Skubal looked phenomenal. Jared Jones, the defense didn't help him. But five of those 7 runs he allowed were earned. So
yeah,
a rough start to the Pirates' day here. We'll see if Skeens can right that ship. But those games not on the slate tonight.
Yeah, those games not on the slate. We got, again, 7 as we go here. Skeens in a little bit of trouble. First and third no outs, by the way, Howard. So Pirates pitching prospects may be in for a tough day against Detroit.
They're not mine, but I'll tell you what, if Skeens gets rocked a little bit, I might have to do a wellness check on my producer, Josh Wagner, to find out if he's going to be okay.
That's true. That's true. Speaking of young rookie phenoms on the slate here, we got Shota Imanaga leading off here. Top price pitcher on the slate, $10,600. If you go over to Fantasy Alarm, check out my sleeper picks of the day. I took Shota under 1.5 earned runs for a pick over there today. Again, 10-6, got a matchup against Milwaukee. Luis Gil going for the Yankees against the Angels at 10-3. Seth Lugo, Justin Verlander, George Kirby, whole bunch of guys there in that 8K range here, Howard. We know Shota, top guy on the slate, but is he the guy that you're looking to spend up for today?
I mean, I'll happily spend up for him in the Best Bets article over at Fantasy Alarm. Happy to give him out right now. Took the Cubs on the money line. Took Shota Imanaga over 6.5 strikeouts. Brewers right now striking out almost 25% of the time over the last week, and striking out about that much, against left-handed pitching in general. So I love Imanaga here. You can pay down to Louis Gil. I think Gil is he's in a great spot and he's playing really well. I'm a big fan of what he's doing here. And I don't love the Angels lineup. The Angels do great jobs against lefties. They don't do as great a job against righties. So I'm still paying up for Imanaga over Hill, but I can understand if you need to take a breather. Seth Lugo, Justin Verlander, both these guys, I put them both in there, and I've got over 6.5 strikeouts for both of those guys as well. So I mean, I'm running out this trio of bets, and I'm loving on all of these guys. So I think where I'm at for DFS purposes, especially for this slate, which is very, very tough because you want your Coors exposure, right? I think there's some Coors exposure. You want your Coors exposure for tonight, which is something that we were talking about on the preview show, but we're paying up for pitching here right now. And, I think depending on where we're going to go, if we do have a spend down, I don't know if you've got a spend down. We had one yesterday. I don't know how we're feeling about it today.
We had a bunch of good spend downs yesterday. You were all over Waldron. We had Hunter Brown.
No. I'm talking about when we did the preview show. We were talking about this slate.
We had Schwellenbach.
Yeah, we did. We looked at Schwellenbach and we said that we could try and get something out of him. Again, the Nats are a team that works the count well. So I guess the real question is when we're building a lineup, are we just paying up for pitching and trying to find even remote value, which we struggled to find in the preview show?
Right.
Or do we go one up and one down? If we do one up and one down, I almost just want to say Verlander against the Mariners because he's the cheapest out of them all.
Yeah, and you said you did the over 6.5 on Verlander. Over on Prize Picks, they give you the demon prop, so they boost their payouts. I took Verlander over 7.5 strikeouts. So I'm even willing to ride your play and go a little bit further there here in this spot. Again, a 29% strikeout rate for the Mariners against right-handed pitching. So I'm all over that. For a spend down, like maybe a 10th Logan Allen. Again, a couple of shutouts. You say that, but 2 of the last 3 he thought shutout baseball. He had 7 Ks in back-to-back starts. It's Colorado. I mean, I know it's in Coors, but there's some underlying numbers that suggest Logan Allen is pitched better than what his actual ERA has indicated. So, maybe if you wanted to take just a small dart on him on 7 games, maybe that's where you would go because, Cleveland is favored today. So maybe there's some win equity with him.
They are favored, and overall, I don't think Colorado is a particularly strong team against left-handed pitching. They're like right in the middle.
Yeah.
Right? 306, here it is. 306 WOBA, 23.5% strikeout rate against Southpaws. My only issue, obviously, is that it is in Coors Field, and Logan Allen does have a problem keeping the ball in the yard.
Sure. Yeah, 100% agreement with you. Again, it's just more so on this slate, like, what are your options?
I'd almost rather go Schwellenbach against the Nats.
Sure.
And just hope to get 5 innings out of him with minimal damage.
Yeah, Allen's just the cheapest favorite on the board. That's why I bring him up there. Schwellenbach, obviously, the rookie here, never pitched above AA. So we'll see if that translates well or not. Moving on over to the catcher spot here. Again, a spot where generally we have looked to spend down. It is a smaller slate, though, Howard. Where are some of your targets lying today?
It's a smaller slate, so I'm definitely looking at trying to spend down a little bit. I see you've got Corey Lee is featured right there at 3,700. That's even that's a little too much for what I want to pay. I'd look at Trevino against Tyler Anderson. I think that's a fine spot to deal with. Or Austin Wells, whoever's going to be, whichever Yankee catcher is going to be in there, just because
Wells played yesterday. So
you know what? Look at that. Alejandro Kirk is actually in the lineup today against Chris Flexen. I actually, he hasn't been great, but I don't hate that as a potential pay down here, just because it is Flexen, and I'm expecting, better thing, more good things out of the Blue Jays in tonight's action.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm totally okay going against Flexen. Kirk hits in 4 straight games. At this price point, you don't need a ton for him to sort of pay off the value there. So I'm happy to go there. Again, there's Kybert at $2,400. I went over 3 yesterday, ending 4 straight games of 2 hits, but you got him as a switch hitter against a rookie, never pitching above AA. So maybe there's some appeal there. And if you want to spend up, obviously, you can try to find some value depending on who's in the lineups when these lineups come out. Moving on over to the first base position, again, on a 7-game slate, we found yesterday that we're either like spending up or, there wasn't a ton of value. We went with LeMahieu or Gavin Sheets, I think, were the 2 we targeted for value.
Yeah, it's the 2 who we spoke about, the most. Yeah, I don't love the big pay up matchups here. Again, Vladdy is okay, but he's actually been kind of cold lately. He hasn't just haven't seen the consistency, out of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. that you're used to seeing there. I don't necessarily want to go. What's that?
Homer, just no power out of
no power. Yeah, that's the problem. So at this spot here, you could get a little little exposure here with some cores and try out like Hunter Goodman, who's in the lineup tonight.
Sure.
I think that's a potential pay down there. And who else did we look at? Oh yeah. Eliharis Montero, who's just been awful, sitting there batting 5th tonight. Gavin Sheets batting 3rd against Manoah. I think that's a nice spot there as well. I think, we touched on that in the last one.
Yeah.
I'm still hanging on to it.
Yeah, and again, it's whether you believe or not Manoah has turned any sort of corner. Obviously, he had a couple of good starts, and then he fell back down last time out. The White Sox here, not a great offense, but Gavin Sheets, is one of their better hitters, which is tough to say. There's so many injuries in that lineup. Aloy's out again. Lewis Roberts hurt still. So Gavin Sheets is like their guy, right? Like kind of like Jake Berger of last season for them a little bit. He's fine. And then I mentioned LeMahieu, if you wanted to go down there, 0 for 3 yesterday, but had a run and a walk. If he finds himself back in that lineup today, you can certainly take a look there. Second base here, Howard. Again, elite guys up at top. We do have Albies against a lefty in Mackenzie Gore. Is that a spot you're looking to just plug today, or do you find this position having some other options for you?
I mean, I would do it. I'm still completely baffled by the fact that Jake Irvin had 10 strikeouts against the Braves. Like, I don't know what's going on with the Braves right now. Like, are the Braves falling apart at the seams? Like, this is kind of nerve-wracking. I like Albie sitting up there in the leadoff spot. I would pay up for him against the lefty just because, that's what we do. But I don't have a hard time going down. I like Nico Horner down there at 4K. I think he's in a really nice spot. For 3,900, I mean, Brendan Rodgers against Allen.
Sure.
I don't hate it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. He's batting second, though.
He hits lefties for his career, right? That's sort of what his jam has been.
It's supposed to be.
And they're in course. So I'm happy to go there as well with you at $3,900. IKF, again, someone that you and I just sort of keep like jokingly put in, like throw our hands up. It's like, well, there's nobody else. And here he is, another double hit, RBI walk, another double-digit fantasy point game. So, we can joke about them because we know long-term there's no real value here, but this is DFS. This is not seasonal fantasy baseball. So ride the hot streak, play the guy while he's going good. He's going to be in the lineup. Chris Flexen, not a great pitcher. He's got a little pop. He's got some solo base upside at $3,200 on a 7-game slate where we're trying to fit, Jose Ramirez in our lineup probably today again. Like, we're going to need to find some value.
What is your thought here on the Royals? Because I'm looking at their lineup right now, and Adam Frazier's batting cleanup. They're giving the day off to Pasquantino.
Yeah.
Just from a value standpoint, do you walk away from a guy like Adam Frazier at that price?
I like Bailey Ober. I think Bailey Ober can obviously have some. I don't like him in a sense that like I'm using him today because I don't know. There's still Bobby Witt, there's still Salvi Perez. Like there's some guys that could do some damage here in that lineup. But I think Bailey Ober is a much better pitcher than Adam Frazier is hitter. So. From that perspective, I'm not looking to play Frazier. I'm not really looking to go against Ober today with like Bobby Witt either, but this is probably just a game or matchup I'm looking to avoid. Obviously the other side, there's Seth Lugo. So most of the Twins we generally look to play, we're not going to be playing them either here. So, kind of cutting out some of these games. So yeah, I think for me, if we're not going Albies up at the top, I'm going to be looking to go down to like a Rogers, Gleyber Torres, or IKF here.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine hanging out down there in the basement. I'm perfectly happy using those any of those options. Super cheap, right? I mean, as long as you're staying under the 4K mark there, you're getting a decent bargain. And I think if we wanted to, look at doing any kind of like exposure, Coors exposure, or any kind of stack, considering it is a short slate, building around Rodgers, not the worst thing in the world. The rest of that lineup, you've got it's Tovar leading off, Rodgers is second, Ryan McMahon batting third, which I don't have any interest in as a lefty.
No.
Elias Diaz, Eli Harris, Montero, Brenton Doyle hitting down there at the bottom. So that's kind of, it's interesting. I like Rodgers in there, but now I'm kind of curious to see like what the pricing is for some of these guys hitting towards the bottom of that lineup.
I mean, you can game stack this with just one man from Colorado as well. You don't need to go and throw a bunch of Rockies in. Just to
I'm not saying a bunch of Rockies, but I always I like
Tovar today.
When I'm doing in a tournament as opposed to a cash game, I like the little 1-2 punch, the guy hitting right in front of the other guy. Sure. I know that, as far as stacking goes, that's not a necessity. I just like that because usually when you're doing it with guys who are going to, one's going to get on base, the other one's going to knock them in, and you just kind of like, pinballing it there.
Yeah, it's the ABCD method. If D can drive an A, like you're okay. Like that's sort of the way it goes there. I'll just shout Nicky Lopez here because it's Alek Manoah. He's hitting second. He's 2,300. And he's actually hitting the ball pretty well lately. Again, kind of like we joke with IKF. Well, he's $1,000 cheaper. He's hitting 390 over the last 10 games. So I don't think much of anything at all with Nicky Lopez as a hitter. He's been in the league for a little bit. We've seen him not do anything at the plate, but right now he's slapping himself some hits. He had a double and a triple against Toronto yesterday. And now he's got Alek Manoah here. So, You know, we got a 10-game streak going for some fantasy points. So if you want to punt, and maybe you're going to Gavin Sheets, Nicky Lopez spend down against Manoah here today to help you spend up, like you definitely can. Just know that the floor is 0 fantasy points with a guy like Nicky Lopez. So, and sometimes the ceiling is as well. Third base has Jose Ramirez. I mentioned at the top of the show, he's the guy I'm looking to go to. Another 2 hits, 4 runs, a homer. Just play Jose Ramirez today. You know, like it's him or the 2 Yankees. Him or the 2 Yankees hitters, Soto, Judge, Ramirez. Those are your top 3 spends. I think yesterday we actually built a lineup that had Ramirez and Judge in it as our preview show. I think we pulled that one off, Howard. So we'll see if we can get it going again. But Jose Ramirez for me, far and away, your number 1 option here at third base.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. Looking further down the list, there a couple of names that might interest anybody. Not really. You know, like I mean, you could go like Senzel against Schwellenbach if you wanted to, to pay down. But I mean, just based on who the players are, maybe a good spot here to use. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa.
Yeah, if you're using Albies at second, you go IKF at third here.
Right. And then if you use Jose Ramirez, you use IKF over at second. Easy peasy.
Yep. So that's kind of where I'm looking at it as well. We appreciate everybody tuning in here today. If you haven't already hit that like button, obviously a free way to support the work we do here at the Fantasy Alarm channel. If you're over on X, we appreciate that as well. Feel free to drop a comment in the chat here. Howard and I happy to answer your questions today. Set your lineups. Any betting questions you have. Obviously, Howard doing the best bets. I did the pick 'em articles for sleeper, underdog, and prize picks today. So if you have any questions, again, feel free to pop those in there. If you're not yet a member of the Fantasy Alarm family, QR code's there on the screen. You can go to fantasyalarm.com/win. You get your first month for less than $20 when you sign up with promo code Let's Go. That gets you access to everything we have on site, including our premium Discord, where you get access to myself, Howard Bender, Andrew Cooper, James Grande, Colby Conway, Matt Sells, Henry Wilson, the whole team in there bringing you content. You get direct access to us there in our premium Discord. But you have to be a Fantasy Alarm member to do so. So again, sign up, fantasyalarm.com/win, promo code Let's Go. Get that first month for less than $20. Howard, no more third baseman for me. I kind of agree. The mid tiers like fit your stack. Sure. Christopher Morel against Bryce Wilson. Okay. Kirby's been struggling. You want to trust Bregman again? Fine. But, for me, I'm going Ramirez or I'm going IKF if I'm not using Albies at second there. So shortstop. Can't play Corey Seager, who homered again today because he's on the afternoon slate. That's now 8 homers in 8 games for Corey Seager. So shortstop leaves us with some choices to be made here today, Howard.
Corey Seager. Whew, so good.
8 homers in 8 games, man. That's hard. That's a run.
That is definitely a run. Absolutely. It's a shame we can't use him here. Where am I going here? I mean, listen, CJ Abrams, if I'm paying up, I can go against Schwellenbach and take some chances over there. Knowing that we're going to go Jose Ramirez and or Ozzie Albies just takes me off of Bobby Witt. Obviously, he's in a great spot still. I like Bailey Ober as well, but I think Bobby Witt, just one of those guys that, I feel like we can use, but not going to because of the way we're locked into Albies and Ramirez over there. So Abrams is a guy like Tovar I mentioned earlier. You can't, you can't argue against what's going on with Anthony Volpe right now, hitting lead off there for the Yankees. You're going to stack Yankees. I know that you and Henry yesterday did the 9-1-2-3. I'll tell you what, man, I'm a big fan of throwing down over there. Bo Bichette, 4,300 though against Chris Flexen. That's not so bad. Bo Bichette hits in 3 straight games, 4 out of his last 5. I think he's actually looking like he's in a pretty good spot and he's turning things around. So to go down to 4,300 there, I might be more inclined to doing that than to even paying up for Volpe, Tovar, Abrams.
Yeah, the Blue Jays, Bichette and Vlad Guerrero obviously had been, murmurs going around about them possibly being on the trading block for the last place Blue Jays here. And right around that time, that report started to come out. Now you see Bichette and Vladdy hitting over 300 over their last 10. So maybe some added motivation. Definitely too cheap of a price tag for Bichette, given the way we know what his ceiling can be. So perfectly fine going there. I like Nico Horner as well at 4K. We have Orlando Arcia against a lefty and Mackenzie Gore at $3,600. Dansby Swanson is still too cheap for me at 33. Again, Bryce Wilson. You look at Bryce Wilson's ERA here, and it's under 3, but his xFIP's 4.7. His expected ERA is 4.5. So definitely some regression going to Wilson's way here. So you could have a day where the Cubs break out. So I don't mind some value there with him as well. And then, if we're not in on Manoah, obviously Paul DeJong has the home run potential. If you just wanted to just full send a White Sox stack today.
Ugh, so grimy. White Sox stack.
I don't really like it either, but you know what? If Manoah has a blow-up day, the White Sox will be an under-owned roster.
I mean,
here.
Definitely an interesting thing because, his last start he got beaten up. And the funny thing is that I didn't really, when I bet this game, I really didn't want to factor, Manoah into it a whole lot. And I even said it in the article. I took the Blue Jays, right? And I focused on their bats when betting this game because, Manoah got beaten up the last time. The 2 games before that, he looked really solid. I don't know if it's like a mental thing, which Manoah is going to show up. So I guess if you're going to bet against him, then it works. But even I say it with this, man, even this White Sox lineup, it's just so trashy. I don't even know if I would want to even, take that shot.
Yeah, very small sample size, but obviously a trend that some people like to look at is home road splits. His 2 bad starts on the road, his 2 good starts at home. He's on the road here today against the White Sox. So maybe even that plays against him a little bit there. Let's move on over to the outfield here. Again, up at the top, you have Kyle Tucker, Juan Soto, Aaron Judge. Can't go wrong really with any of the group. Again, yesterday we did do the wraparound with the Yankees. Soto homered again. 6 homers now over the last 10, 350 now at a 1,300 OPS during that stretch. He has been everything and more that I'm sure Yankees fans could have hoped for. Usually you get these big high-priced guys and you wonder if they're going to be able to handle the New York atmosphere there, and Soto's doing it just fine.
Yes, he is definitely doing it just fine, and I know that the Yankees are already, looking into to getting to mustering up that $1 billion that it's going to cost to
stake in the team they're going to offer him,
to
right?
keep him there, right? I mean, listen, man, that's a big get. That would definitely be a big get. I'm all in for that one, 100%.
David Fry is someone that we talked about the other day. 3 hits and a homer yesterday. Yeah. And they get another matchup against a lefty today. I mean, he's 5K. Again, we're not going to use him at catcher probably today, but as you mentioned, that outfield eligibility, you can plug him in as a top price outfielder today. If, again, another just super hot hitter that you got to be riding this wave with right now.
I mean, that's what we did when we built the lineup last night, right? We put Fry, we moved him from catcher out to the outfield, and we looked to find some value in there while still able to, pair him with Judge. So, I think we run a very similar path with our build here tonight. So I'm definitely looking at Fry. You can also look at Stanton going up against Anderson as a slightly less expensive and, very similar, boom or bust kind of mentality there as far as that goes. I like Bellinger at 48, lefty going up against Bryce Wilson. I think that's fine. We know that Taylor Ward's playing real well as well, too. Yep. You didn't get your wish, though. Michael Harris, the second, batting 7th in this lineup here against the lefty. I was a little surprised they didn't move him up more.
Well, they had him lead off yesterday against the righty. That's what I was expecting. I was expecting him to lead off versus righty.
I have my games mixed up.
Against the lefty, yeah, it makes sense that they would drop him down. They have Albies leading off today. Is that what they have going on? Yeah, so I think Albies today is going to be their leadoff guy. I had actually projected maybe Arcia was going to move up to the 2-hole, but they have Riley back, so now they have Riley hitting second instead. They flopped Albies obviously with Acuna there. So I'm not really going to go Harris versus the lefty. I don't really love that spot. I don't mind Varsho hitting second today at $4,600. I think you can go in that direction if you like those Blue Jays here today. Schneider leading off again, had a good day yesterday. You can go there. Pilar homered again. I know it's Louis Hill and it's a righty, not a lefty, but I have to at least mention that someone needs to test Kevin Pillar and see what he's on.
Get that piss test going.
I just don't believe that he's going to continue to be. I mean, he's on pace for like 30 homers, Howard. I mean, that's not Kevin Pillar that I know.
It's not the Kevin Pillar anybody knows.
Exactly. Where else are we going here at outfield in the mid-tier?
Mid-tier outfielders. Who else do we like? Well, like I said earlier, we could talk about Brenton Doyle, where he's at 4,200. That's a little priced up there. You were talking Freeman last night from Cleveland. Was that yesterday's slate or today's slate? I can't even remember.
It was today because a lefty was on the mound. Actually, James Grande was the one that kind of pointed that out, that they have him leading off. Almost a 200 ISO against left-handed pitching on the year. So if you want to
nice to look at.
Yeah, if you get him in cores, he's running hot right now. Sure.
If we can, absolutely. Lane Thomas back from injury, decently priced at 4,100, going up against Schwellenbach. If you're going to, if you're looking to add some Nats to your lineup, just to go against Schwellenbach, I mean, I definitely think it's a possibility. You get Lane Thomas in there. Jacob Young's probably priced a little further down the list, so you might get some. Yep, there he was,
37,
right under Bouchard.
Yep. And obviously, elite stolen base upside for him. I love seeing Duvall move up to the 6 hole here. Again, I know Mackenzie Gore's a tough matchup, and Duvall's certainly going to have a couple of strikeouts here, but if he's going to get everyday playing time, there's legitimate chance he hits like another 20 homers by the end of the season here. So the power could definitely be there. You're getting him at $3,800. A really good value there. Our guy Aaron popping in the chat. Let's go run back the winning streak. Love keeping the cash. He's going there for you, Aaron. We'll do our best here today. If you have any questions, feel free again, toss those in there. You got Winker at 38. You're talking about Washington bats, could get him there against Schwellenbach as well. Going to hit the top of that lineup. Rosario's 35. Let's see.
But Corey Julks leading off for the White Sox today.
Is he leading off today?
He's leading off. It's Julks, Lopez, Sheets. That's your top three right there. There's your super cheap anti-Manoah stack.
Is Pham out of the lineup today?
What's that? Yeah, Pham is out of the lineup.
Figures. I guess we played Corey Julks last year at times with Houston. Hey, that White Sox team, man, that they're just not trying. Jake Myers, a lot of good numbers against righties this year. If you're not in on George Kirby's 3,300, can plug that in there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Do we have any other value plays?
Nothing that really turns the head further down the list.
Not really. DK Cash, is Kirby and Gore too cute? Yeah. I'm not gonna go Gore against Atlanta, I don't think. For cash games, I like Verlander on the other side of that matchup. If you can find 300, I'd be more comfortable with Verlander and Gore, I think, than Kirby and Gore. If you can find the money. Depends what your bats are there, Aaron. Obviously, cash games, hard to not expect. Probably showed it to have a ton of rostership here tonight. So you might be a little bit different than the field in those cash games, not having showed it in your lineup. So, if you can kind of maneuver around, I'm not as much in on Kirby today, personally.
Yeah, me neither. And again, when you're looking at that pairing, I probably think, we'll check ownership. I don't remember when the last time was that ownership got updated here, but I would definitely take a look at that and just see where it falls. I'm with John though. I like Verlander more than I like Kirby on this side. Gore, listen, Gore, I don't hate. I really don't hate the play overall. I just don't love it either. I just think that, we're looking at the Braves kind of taking a little bit of a tumble here, but Mackenzie Gore has not been like the model of consistency either, and we got a lot of good right-handed bats on that lineup.
Yeah, tournament ownership for the main slate will be updated after the show here today, but I am looking at the current numbers. No surprise. Now, this is for tournaments. It's not for cash games. And we will have all of our rostership projections over at Fantasy Slump. So, again, if you're not a member of the Fantasy Slump family, you want ownership numbers, you can go sign up, become a member, and get access to this. But I'll just give you a little sneak peek of the top couple of guys here for the slate. Showdown, obviously, no surprise, your top rostered pitcher here today. Verlander is number 2. Your top roster pitcher under 8K today is Logan Allen, by the way. Around 13% for value.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the ownership on Schwellenbach?
10%.
All right, so not too far off though.
Not too far off. No.
Okay.
But you're getting $600 cheaper for Logan Allen there. And I think the fact that it makes sense if Shota there is almost 30%, that under 7K Logan Allen to be drawing some
interest
love there for sure. All right, let's get a lineup build here, Howard. What do we want to do here, sir?
Well, why don't we try doing that one up, one down? If you want to go Logan Allen, do you want to pair him up with Imanaga? You want to go with Verlander and save a couple of bucks?
Well, let's start with Shota, and then we'll see if we need the Verlander savings or not. Actually, let's go the other way around. Let's see if we have money left over. We'll go Verlander, $4,200 a play. What was your number one spender? Are you going Yankees outfield? We going Jose Ramirez?
I thought we were going Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, I'm just confirmation here. All right.
So you were so adamant about it. You're like, I didn't even think you wanted to talk about another third baseman after you said your piece on him.
I really didn't. I agree with you there. All right. So then catcher, we were looking to spend down on.
Right. We looked at Alejandro Kirk as a possibility.
Yep. Kirk's 31. All right. First base, did we want Gavin Sheets as a spend down, or are we spending up?
Well, I mean, what's our spend up? What was our top guy?
I think it was Vladdy. Sheets.
Yeah, let's try Sheets. Let's see what happens with Sheets in there.
All right, so we go there. We can actually get the 6 or 7, 8 pairing with IKF and Kirk.
Oh, okay. There you go.
All right, so now we have 4,500 for 3 plays, which means we could probably get Soto or Judge. You go Judge righty versus lefty here.
Yeah, I would go Judge over Soto.
Or would you rather Fry? Ramirez.
What happens if you go? Oh, yeah, I know you like going Fry. Oh, there it is. What's the pay down there at short? How deep do we dive?
Arcia's 36. Or we can just spend down an outfield. What was our cheapest outfielder here? Jolk's 32. Gives us the 1-3. Got a 4K outfielder.
Now you're ready to throw Nicky Lopez in there, aren't you? Short. I can see it right now.
No, shortstop, not outfielder. Shortstop, 4K. Nico Horner.
Oh, I like Nico Horner.
The one-off Nico Horner play there.
Okay, that works for me.
All right, so there's our non-Shota build there. We got Verlander, Logan Allen, Alejandro Kirk, Gavin Sheets, IKF, Jose Ramirez, Nico Horner, David Fry, Aaron Judge, Corey Julks. Getting 3 spend-ups, Howard. 3 guys over 5K in the lineup, 2 guys over 6K in the lineup here today. So, guys, again, just an example lineup for everybody. The playbook is out there. Henry Wilson has that for you all. Get in our Discord if you're not already a member of the Fantasy Alarm family. We'll help you guys out with your lineups up until roster lock here today. Again, we appreciate you all tuning in. If you haven't hit that like button already, do so. Hit the subscribe button over on YouTube so you get notified whenever we go live. And if you're over on X, hit that like, hit that reshare button for us as well. One more time, you can scan that QR code or go to fantasyalarm.com/win. Use promo code Let's Go. It saves you your first month there less than $20. So again, we appreciate you all tuning in. No live show tomorrow. Small slates there. We'll have a playbook out for you all. We'll be back live on Friday. Myself and James Grande bringing you the live show breakdown there on Friday. Until then, everybody, we'll catch you with the preview show. Good luck.